I was in grad school full time. I was working full time. My family lived in a whole different state. So I spent a lot of time on the phone communicating with them, and I had very little time to dedicate to learning how to trade. That when I first got started, I was so hell-bent on achieving success. Stayed up one day like I couldn't sleep trying to trade the London session, and I traded until it was time to wake up. And then the same thing the next night, then the next night. And then I got a migraine, and the migraine wouldn't go away. I sought out medical attention 3 times. The last one was the emergency room. And finally, they gave me a occipital nerve block in the base of my skull to stop what was happening. But I was depriving myself of sleep because I was so impatient to learn this skill set. I was so mismatched in my approach to learning with what I had going on in my life. It just did not work. What I was doing was not sustainable. After that experience, I'm like, I gotta figure out something that works. Happy Friday, y'all. I hope you are doing good. So I am on the way to my uncle's 90th birthday party. I'm actually sitting outside the drugstore right now, about to go buy a birthday card. I was thinking as I was driving, I'm like, I've been hearing or seeing, I should say, a lot of comments lately around how long it took me to really understand and get trading. Like, when did things start making sense for me? And I've been seeing it on the comments on YouTube. I've been seeing it on the comments on Facebook. I've been getting the DMs, like, y'all send me messages asking me to trade for you because you don't understand and you can't get it, which that's a whole nother video for a different day. But don't offer nobody your money to be trading for you. You don't want to do that. And I'll have to tell y'all about the story. I think I may have actually shared it on this channel. In my journey at one point, I was so desperate to become profitable that I considered sending $1,000 to someone I had never seen or never met. That's a story for a different day, but y'all don't be that desperate. You really have the opportunity to take this thing into your hands and take ownership of it, learn at your pace. I think the biggest thing is to be patient. I think a lot of people struggle with that, and I don't think it's all your fault. I think it's the content that's put out on the internet that makes you think that this is achievable overnight. I hate to burst your bubble. It's not. I think what a lot of people have to do, they really have to do some soul searching. They really got to figure out what it is that they want. And then they have to spend the time, invest the time to research and determine what style of trading fits with your lifestyle, right? So I started my journey in September 2017. I remember it clearly. It was with the organization that all of us probably know. And I was so excited because I'd always been interested in trading. I even opened up, I forget, was it an E-Trade? I think it was an E-Trade account right after I graduated from college. And I didn't know what I was doing. I had no clue. I thought I was about to go buy some stocks and penny stocks and make it happen. And I did not invest the time in order to research and figure out where I could get my education from and how to actually approach this. So when I joined, I'm like, this is going to be different. I was in school, right? Y'all have heard this. I was in grad school full time. I was working full time. My family lived in a whole different state. So I spent a lot of time on the phone communicating with them. And I had very little time to dedicate to learning how to trade. I tell this story, and y'all probably know it, that when I first got started, I was so hell-bent on achieving success that I stayed up one day like I couldn't sleep. And so I was trying to trade the London session, and I traded until it was time to wake up. Like, I tried to go to bed. I woke up. I ain't sleep that long. I tried to trade the London session, and then the same thing the next night, then the next night. And then I got a migraine, and the migraine wouldn't go away. I sought out medical attention 3 times. The last one was the emergency room. And finally, they gave me a occipital nerve block in the base of my skull to stop what was happening. I was depriving myself of sleep because I was so impatient to learn this skill set. I was so mismatched in my approach to learning with what I had going on in my life. It just did not work. What I was doing was not sustainable. After that experience, I got to figure out something that works because I'm definitely interested in learning this skill set. I know I'm smart enough to do it. I knew that I had the capacity to be successful in this space. I just needed to find all of the right pieces that fit together in order to make this thing blossom. I mentioned in the interview that I did with one of my students a couple weeks ago, what I really appreciated about her was she took ownership of her education. And that's kind of like what I did. So I started out in that organization, quickly figured out it was not for me. And then I moved on to different people throughout the process. You know, I picked up what I could from those people, but there were still missing pieces that I needed to fill. I sought out, y'all know how to use Google. I sought out that information and I got some good stuff. I got some bad stuff. And as I tried to implement this stuff into how I was trading, I figured out what worked and I figured out what didn't work. And then I was able to arrive at something that made sense for me. I think the other thing that I quickly realized is that I had to temper my expectation. Whereas I was sold on the fact that I could come in and make $2,000 a day, reality set in like, girl, this ain't the way this gonna work. Like, you need to invest the time, invest the money, really dig deep into getting yourself educated and brought up to speed on how you can tackle this market. I also have to mention that without having a ton of time on my hands, I had to get it in when I could. And I figured out, like I said, I'm not a scalper. I wasn't an intraday trader, but I figured out that swing trading made sense to me. I started out when I was trying to put the pieces together. I was reading books about Elliott wave theory. I got books about fundamentals. I got books about Fibonacci. I got books about a lot of stuff, but I had to go through that process and I had to pull out what I could and try to implement it. And as I began to implement and I saw success, those are the things that I stuck with. Those are the things that I kept with me. But the stuff that did not make sense to me, the stuff that I continued to try to do and never saw any progress with, I let it go. I knew that, like I said, I was going to school, I was working, I didn't have a ton of time. I needed something that fit within how my life was happening at the time. And once I did that, that took a lot of stress. That took a lot of pressure off of me. I just gave myself a little bit of grace too. Like, okay, Casey, you're not about to learn this overnight. It's not going to happen. You're in this for the long haul. So once I set that expectation that this was going to be a long-term journey for me, because, I mean, what else should I go do, right? This is the conversation that I have with myself. What else am I going to do that allows me to build up to a point, to scale up to a point where I can dictate how much money I earn? Nothing. What am I going to do legally? Nothing. And so once I had this aha moment to myself, like, okay, it don't matter how long it takes me in order to get this information. I can't control like when it's actually going to all the stars align in order for it to make sense. What I can control is my input. I can control every weekend marking up charts. I can control when I have an hour free during the day to read and to take notes. I remember one time I was at the doctor and the doctor, I had my flashcards, right? So I had flashcards and I was waiting on her to come in the waiting room. And here I am with flashcards. She told me, what you doing? Is that for school? No. Is that for work? No. What are you doing? I'm trying to learn how to trade. Oh, okay. I'm looking crazy. I got a stack of flashcards. I got a binder with me. But every free moment that I had, I was that much immersed into this that it didn't matter how long it took. I was just going to make sure that my input was consistent. If my input was consistent, then eventually the output would get online and it would happen the way it was supposed to happen. In short, all I'm trying to say to y'all is you can't control how quickly you're going to pick this up. There are many factors that are involved in this process that could influence how quickly you get this information. What you can control is your process. What you can control is your studying on a regular basis. What you can control is your execution. Like, you can't go through information one time and think that you're going to have it. Oh, I'm not seeing any results. I don't care if you've done it for 6 months. I don't care if you've done it for a year. If you've gone through the information once and it's not what you eat, sleep, and breathe, you're probably not going to see any type of result. You can control your input. Your input will control your output. There is no set time. where everything all starts to make sense, but there is a set time that you can create for what you put into this process. I encourage you to continue learning. I encourage you to put yourself on some sort of schedule. I encourage you to find good education, whether that be mine or somewhere else. But I also encourage you to never give up. This is not going anywhere. If you start today, you do a little bit every day for a year straight, how much further are you going to be in your process? If you start today and you stop next month, and then next year, like, dang, I probably could have had this under my belt. So be encouraged. Continue the process, be diligent, seek out good resources and good information, and use it to the best of your advantage. Y'all keep pushing. I'm telling you to keep pushing. Be consistent. Find information that aligns with you, and you will see those results. So I appreciate you guys for watching. I am going to see you on the next video. I got to go in here and celebrate my uncle's 90 years of life on this earth. That's pretty awesome. I hope I get there one day. I really do. But I got to go get this birthday card and go spend some QT with my family. So I will see y'all very soon. Have a great weekend, and we'll connect.